It'll be one to go this time by. Coming to the green, buddy. Coming to the green. Let's go get him. Go, go, go. Dig, dig, dig. Go, 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 go.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway.
Associated Press, and Carl, I have to say, as someone who once taught the youth of Missouri, I was pleased that you knew the definition of precipice. But my question is, you've got 9 former champions sitting here in front of you. Did either of you have any stories or anecdotes about growing up and watching any of them? You wanted to be like any of them, or even from racing against any of the ones that you did race against?
Well, I know for me, you know, you mentioned Missouri. Missouri's a long way from places like Daytona, you know, in Charlotte. And to me, you know, watching you guys race on TV, that was something that, you know, we'd go over to my dad's buddy's house and watch the races on Sundays and, you know, see guys like Richard Petty and, you know, Rusty Wallace and Bobby Allison and, you know, guys that to me were just these mythical figures. And it's so amazing to be sitting up here and realize that that even though it's a far chance, I still have a chance maybe to put my name on that list this year. So it's an honor.
David,
you know, I look through the room and I see these guys here, and it's possible to say how much I respect and admire all of these guys and what they've done for our sport, and have looked up to all of their names and faces through the years. Some of the ones that it was tough for me in San Diego to really catch much of NASCAR racing at a young age. But I remember being so impressed that a father and son duo with the Allisons could be out there racing, and how cool that must have been to race against your dad or race against your son and fighting for wins at Daytona and things like that. I just thought that was amazing. Richard Petty didn't have a very good career, so I mean it's hard to really talk much about him. Got a grin was all. I thought. But I mean these guys are heroes to all of us in the sport, and I think that it's tough. We don't get that question asked that often, but I feel like I can speak, you know, on behalf of a lot of the drivers, not all of them, that these guys are the heroes of the sport and made it what it is today. And we've got a big responsibility on our shoulders to not screw it up and to help it continue to grow. And it's a cool sport that we love, and we're trying to do our best with it. But these guys they ran without Hans devices. They ran without power steering. I mean, there's a lot of different things that these guys have been through that we all admire.
David Poole, Charlotte Observer. For Carl, a lot of times in sports, people are defined by those they defeat to win championships. Teams have to go through other champions to win that first title, and that elevates their own title. Whether you do it this year or whoever does it, whenever somebody finally beats Jimmie in this business, will the accomplishments of that team elevate the accomplishment by whoever it is that eventually tops them and knocks them off the precipice on which they now sit?
I hope he's on a precipice. You could fall off at any moment, Jimmie. Remember that. I think that you're right. I mean, I think in any competition, I know I can only speak for myself, but when Jimmie started gaining speed and ground and you realize, man, this guy could go win 3 championships, you think, man, you know, you try really hard not to be jealous or you know, spiteful because of his success. But Jimmie makes it easy to respect what they're doing, and I think in the end, yes, his success and you know, if he was to win this championship and make it 3 in a row and do what he could do, it'll just make it literally more fun to beat him when we beat him next year. You know, that's our plan. So. But yes, his success does, I think, elevate the game, and I think Kurt said it really well last week after the race. You know, it's amazing to see what he's doing right now.
Go ahead, Kenny.
Yeah, Kenny Bruce, NASCAR scene for Jimmie and for Carl. Almost from the time the chase starts at Loudon, those of us who cover it tend to look at how every race affects the championship chase, and we don't look at each race individually. How tough has it been for you guys to focus on each race and put the put the battle for the championship kind of in the background. Is that difficult at all?
You know, with the way that the 48 team has been running, I definitely have understood the weight of every lap, you know, everything that goes on, and you know, that's what made Talladega so excruciating to be. You know, I will never forget sliding down that banking, you know, with the mangled up car, thinking, you know, wow, I have really screwed us here. You know, that was a bad feeling. And then the next week at Charlotte, it was just like a bad dream while we're sitting there changing those ignition boxes, and I'm watching the field go by, and I thought, well, I can make up one lap or maybe two, then 3, 4, 5. You know, they went by, and so I think that through this season or this chase, I've learned a lot about the value of every point. You know, I thought I really understood that well, but I think I understand it maybe just a little better now, and it hasn't really been difficult to focus on it. But we have been focused on every lap because of how well these guys are running. And you know, if you give anything up, it's hard to make it back up.
And kind of add to that too is that I think it simplifies things just to focus on each race, and you don't know where the points are going to come from. If you do get an advantage, you don't know if you're ever going to lose them and how. And I've just found that the more I look at each race, and as Carl said, each lap, you stay focused on the present and do what you can then. Has been helpful. And in 06 when we won the championship, and we got off to a bad start, and it helped me, I think, then realize that you can only do what you can do, and you can only control the things that you touch. You can't control parts breaking or getting caught up in wrecks and different things that take place. So you just focus on the now, and if it comes together, it comes together. So that's been something I've learned from 06 and have carried through 07 and this year as well.
Joe Manzer, NASCAR.com. Jimmie, you've been a little bit reluctant to really talk about the historical significance of winning 3 in a row. If you do this, do you feel like you would belong just with this group of gentlemen sitting in front of you? And also, Carl, if you could just talk about the historical significance of if he would win 3 in a row.
Well, first you got to do it, and that's why I haven't talked about it. And 2, I don't think I have, or any driver has the right to proclaim their spot in history. That's not for that person to decide. That's for the fan base, the guys that have done it and are in that club and were accepted into that club. So I don't comment about it because, you know, I'm 33 and still racing, and I don't feel like it's my spot to say those things. And I also feel that I have a lot of years left in the car to really make my mark in the sport. So I just, you know, if we are fortunate enough to win the championship, I'm sure thoughts and things will come along at that point, and I'll have some comments then about what it means to me. But I don't think it's my place to say where I fit in.
And I still plan on beating him, hopefully, so I'd rather not comment on it.
Headley, you still got a question?
I think so. Carl, you've had a great season. A season in other years may have resulted in a championship. If it doesn't work out for you and you look back on this, will this be a season you view as a success or a season that wouldn't have got away?
Well, like I said, I mean, it's not over, so it's hard to say. I mean, I guess we just have to see what happens on Sunday. I can say with certainty, no matter what happens on Sunday, our team has become stronger, and I do feel like we can win at almost any racetrack we go to. You know, we ran really well at a place like Daytona this year. The road courses were great. Martinsville, a place that I'd struggled a lot at. So no matter whether it works out, you know, the Cinderella story for us, or if Jimmie gets this thing, I feel very positive and excited about the years to come. I think we're going to be great. So, you know, that's how I look at this year, no matter what.